and welcome to my channel where I talk about books and bricks and bookish things and horror things and anything that takes me fancy, really. And this is this week's upload, and it is, as is tradition, a monthly wrap up. This is my February reading wrap up. I read, it was 14 books. It's a lot slower for me this year than it has been in previous years, when most months I would read double of that probably. But I'm really enjoying what I'm reading, and I am also addicted to Lego now, so that takes some of my time. So I read 14 books, and I'm just going to run through them with you. Hope you're all well. How have you all been? How was your reading? Let me know. First up, we'll do the Kindles. I read 7 Kindles. Actually, that means, oh no, I read 7. That's good, isn't it? I'm trying to get my physical TBR down. Anyway, 7 Kindles. First one, these aren't in any order I read them, but the first one I'm going to talk about is this one, Vagabond by Tim Curry. This is Tim Curry's autobiography, and I nearly picked it up when I went to Waterstones a couple of weeks ago, but then it was a 99p Kindle deal. Brucey bonus. This is I love an autobiography and a biography, and I nearly read one almost every month, right? I really enjoy them, and they're really easy to read, especially at night when I'm in bed, so I can put them up, pick them up, put them down. I don't get too involved in the story, keep me awake. I love Tim Curry, and this is quite a different autobiography in the fact that he doesn't talk about at all any of his personal life really as an adult. There's no talk about his love affairs or his relationships. He talks about his childhood and the relationship, the strange relationship he had with his mother and his sister and his brother. No, I don't think he had a brother. Dad, I think. But he doesn't really go into any detail about his personal life as an adult. And that's actually quite refreshing, actually. So there's no kiss and tell in this. He does, although, bitch about a few of the co-stars he's had, which is quite good fun. But yeah, excellent autobiography. Really enjoyed it. Next up, I read a collection. I nearly always also read a collection or an anthology. This is an anthology. It's different writers, edited together by Marcus Hook, October Blood, and these are all short stories of Halloween horror. I mean, we're out of season, but it's Halloween all year for me, my loves. It's Halloween 365. Yeah. So this was really good. A lot of mix. Some of them were hits, some of them were misses. Marcus's own story in here is my favourite story in this collection. But yeah, great read. Next, Murder on Mount Fuji by Shizuko Natsuki. Natsuki is known as the Christie of Japanese murder mysteries, and this is a classic murder mystery. It's about an American tutor who is tutoring a Japanese girl from a very wealthy family, and she gets invited to her um, Christmas celebrations with her family in this very, expensive house, lodge, whatever, in the below Mount Fuji. And when she gets there, there's all the different kind of tropes of different members of the family. Um, During the dinner, after the dinner, one of the senior members of the family, gets murdered. It looks like initially it's obvious who's done it, and they confess straight away. But as the plot goes on, as with any good murder mystery, there's twists and turns and red herrings, and it's great fun. If you love Christie, if you love murder mysteries, you'll really enjoy this. You're just seeing it from a different cultural perspective, as it's Japanese culture, and they have this a very strict hierarchy within families, which you don't really have, certainly in the English murder mysteries written by Christie, not in the same way. But yeah, excellent. Really enjoyed it. Also, a 99p Kindle. Love them. Next, Artemis by Andy Weir. I love Andy Weir. Project Hail Mary is one of my favourite books by him. I know the film's out soon. There's also a Lego set coming out, which I'm going to get. But this is basically the moon where the Martian was Mars, right? If you ever read The Martian by Andy Weir, that was about Mars. This is about the moon. Artemis is a human base set up on the moon. in the vacuum of space. So obviously they can't go outside because they'd all, die. And it basically is interesting in the fact that it talks about a society set up in a very isolated space station, but still having the same problems societally as a human city, where there's people with money and there's people with no money, and there's people who are very wealthy and corrupt, and people who are in poverty. And it's that kind of almost that translation from um, the human world onto the moon landscape. And you'd kind of hope that as humanity, if we got to a stage where we could actually do that, set up a base on the moon, a city on the moon, that we'd get past those kind of things. But no. Anyway, a bit of a problem happens. The main character is called Jazz, and she's a kind of a runner. She does all these jobs. She runs things around the moon base, which is obviously very hard on. She was born on the moon, or she went there when she was very young, I think, but she's been there a long time. So she's used to the gravity, which is different, obviously, to Earth. And then she gets asked to do a job that could, make her millions. Although on the moon they're called slugs, not pounds. I don't know why they chose slugs, a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, and it all goes a bit wrong, and yeah, she almost causes a disaster. But anyway, it's brilliant. If you enjoyed The Martian, this is what The Martian did for Mars, basically, but on the moon. It's brilliant. Next up, Puzzle House by Duncan Malston. This is an indie horror. It's Puzzle House 2. Puzzle House originally, if anybody has read that, is basically about a very eccentric puzzle master who invites these people to his house, and they have to solve puzzles in rooms. It's kind of like escape rooms, right? But the person who's the last to uncover the puzzle dies horrifically. It's horror, after all. The survivor of that initiated a ritual that has now caused chaos on the earth outside. And this is his journey from that house into reality, or, real as it is in the human world. And with the kind of supernatural cosmic world interacting with reality of the human world. It's very, very gory. There's monsters galore. It's very much a creature feature. It also hooks into all different kind of mythologies. There's ancient Greek mythology. There is ancient Japanese mythology, all bleeding through. It's like everything that ever existed is bleeding through into the modern world. And yeah, it's very, very gory. Very gory. But it is, as it turns out at the end, the second in a trilogy, which I wasn't aware of. So I'm not keen on duologies or trilogies. I prefer standalones. But it was. I enjoyed it. It was good. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first book. Next Kindle, Unexplained Phenomena by Lisa Marie Fox. This kind of speaks for itself. It was free on KU, and it's just like an encyclopedia of unexplained phenomena around the world. It's really easy to kind of pick up, put down. It's another one that I've read while I was in bed on my bedroom Kindle, because you can just read a couple, put it down. Do you know, it's kind of easy. Yeah, you don't want something that you're going to get too involved. By the way, I had medical procedures last week. They involved a cannula, which is why that's very, very bruised. But all is well. But yes, those is very good. As I say, free on KU. There's lots of encyclopedias of paranormal places and stuff on KU. If you have KU and you haven't looked, there's lots of them like that. So yeah, it was good fun. And the last Kindle was an ARC I read, which actually came out on the 14th of February by David Hawkins, who's one of my lovely indie author friends, The Memory Shades. This is a sci-fi horror, and it's basically about a Earth prison camp, really. There's many, many years, light years away, and everybody who's sent there to work, and they're basically sent there to work to death, right? They're all supposedly prisoners, and they've all had their memories wiped, so they don't know what crimes they've committed, and they're there just to work. And they've been traveling for, in human terms, hundreds of years. So everybody they knew is dead anyway. It's a life sentence, but in a different way. But all of these men start suddenly seeing shades of things that perhaps are indications of the crimes they committed or the life they left behind, which they shouldn't do because they weren't their wives. Their memories should have been completely erased. It's brilliant. It's gory. It's gruesome. It's very sad. Quite touching. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's out on the 14th. It's also on KU or available on Kindle, on Amazon. It's brilliant. I mean, David, he just has the most lovely way of writing that kind of immediately draws you in. Um, and this is no different. Not a long book, 240 pages. It's a short book. Absolutely brilliant. And we're going to go into the physical books I read this year. So this month, last month, February, my birthday month. The two books we read for Tales Point Horror Book Club. So the main one was this one, Sweet 16 by Francesca Jeffries. Never read anything by this one for Point Horror, this author by Point Horror before. And this is about a girl called Leslie. And she shares a birthday with her grandmother. And on her 13th birthday, her grandmother has a stroke or a heart attack. I can't remember which one. And she passes away, sadly. But prior to that, her best friend, grandmother's best friend, reads her and her cousins tea leaves because they're both the same age and says that needs to be worried about the 16th birthday, something grave. There's going to be grave concerns. So it's 3 years later, sweet 16th. Trisha's family's having a lot of problems. Her parents are splitting up. And so Leslie's mom has said to Leslie, you need to take her under your wing, look after her. They don't get on very well. So anyways, they've organised her sweet 16th birthday party, and then all these things start happening. Things start turning up in the post, ruined. Somebody tries to run her over. I mean, it's just... And then things start happening also to her cousin. You know, her hair gets ruined. The outfit she ordered arrives covered in paint. And then there's her best friend who lives next door, Deborah, who loves game show, like chat shows. Weird. And Leslie's boyfriend, Rick, who's weird. And her ex, Steve, who's now going out with Trisha, who doesn't want to... Anyway, it's one of them. It's all right, but not enough death and destruction in this one for me. But I quite enjoyed it. And I do love reading them. The bonus book, however, it's fallen apart, but this is a vintage copy. Love You to Death by Bebe Faz Rice. And this is about Julie. And this new boy starts. And he seems to be older than a lot of the other boys there. And he may be, but he looks older. Called Quinn, and everybody, all the girls want him. But he focuses on Julie. But he tries to pull her away from her family and friends and everybody who has any say in her life, and wants her completely to himself, which after a while starts to frighten her a little bit, especially when people who have done things against her or said things against her start turning up dead. So it's basically about toxic love. I mean, really psychopathic toxic love. It is a doozy. I mean, this more than makes up for the no deaths in this one. But it's brilliant. I never read anything for this series before. I don't know if it's a series even. I don't really know. But as I say, this was I've really struggled to get a copy, and I need to mend it. It's just come apart at the seams. But yeah, that was really good. Next, I bought this last time I went to Waterstones when I went shopping. Shroud by Adrian Sarkovsky. And very annoyingly, went on a 99p Kindle. So I thought, oh well, I'll read the Kindle. Let's just shove this on the shelf because I love his writing, and this is brilliant. This is about a post-apocalyptic Earth, where humans are kind of grown now, cloned, almost Matrix-like, just to be workers, and they go out into the universe and they basically exploit other planets. They take all of the natural resources of planets, and Earth is a kind of a mass business, really. Anyway, they've gone to this moon, which they've called Shroud, because it's the absolute antithesis of life. Nothing can live on there. You can't breathe the air. And then there's these strange creatures they keep seeing. They keep sending these probes down, and the probes disappear. and all they can see these strange creatures that they've never seen before. They don't understand what they are. So they decide they're going to do a launch down to the planet, which requires a lot of organisation because obviously it's incredibly toxic. So they have to go into a vessel that's not going to leak in any way because they would be dead within seconds. While they're sorting this out, there's an explosion on the station, which is in orbit, and one of the pods gets thrown in to the atmosphere and lands on Shroud with two women inside, two of the officers, and they have to navigate their way across this planet, encountering all of the creatures that are there, and there's very many different ones on the air, on the earth, in the mountains, in the sea, all different ones, and they have no idea if they're predatory or not. And it's all about whether, I suppose, it's like messages. Is it right to exploit a planet if the life forms on it are sentient? And how do you prove they are if you can't speak to them? So it's absolutely brilliant. I loved this book. Absolutely excellent. It's a classic, old school sci-fi. Next, The Other People by C.B. Everett. I believe this is a Abominable Club one. And it's basically, the title works on the premise, hell is other people, right? So 10 people wake up, 10 people wake up in a massive house in a room which has their things in it, but they have no idea how they got there, and they don't remember much about their lives previously. What happened to make them there? They don't know where they are. And so they all come down. They're all from different walks of life. They all go down to the dining room to have dinner, which suddenly appears magically from somewhere. A woman walks in and she says, "Look, there's this girl. She's been taken prisoner by a serial killer, and he has buried her somewhere, and you have to find her before she dies." What she doesn't tell them, in order to leave, what she doesn't tell them is there's also a serial killer stalking each of them. Well, stalking each of them one at a time, for them to escape. And so it's about, who do you trust when it says on the back, because while you can trust yourself, can you really trust the other people? And that's what it's about. These people don't know each other, and at least one of them has to be the serial killer, right? So it's really good, and yeah, it's I enjoyed it. I mean, it's been done before, right? There's a hints of then there were None by Agatha Christie in there, and certain other films, certainly the ending. I think you'll see it coming before you get there, but it was good fun. It was good fun. Next, Landis by Shelley Mack. Shelley Mack very kindly sent me a copy of this. It's just come out. This is a book she wrote. Oh, the spider, she's so sweet. And this is about a country called Landis. And there's a queen and a king and a prince. The prince is called Ben, is it? Yeah, Benjamin. Yeah. And him and his 4 friends, they all receive on their 16th birthday a special gift that will aid the kingdom. They also each have their own personal fairy who looks after them and takes care of their needs. And but in part of Landis, right down in the Forbidden Forest, is a princess, an evil princess that's been captured there and trapped there, and she uses the powers that's released during this time to manipulate someone to help her escape so that she can take back her kingdom, what she feels is rightly her kingdom. And these 5 friends have to come together to save Landis, basically. It's absolutely brilliant. It's so good. So it's 5 friends, 5 gifts. Can they work together to stop the evil princess from? It's classic fantasy. It's just so engaging, so completely engaging, and I absolutely loved it. I really, really loved it. And the fairies are fantastic. In fact, although the 5 characters, they're Ben, Niall, Gabriel, Severo, and Vara. Those are the 5 friends, right? Or 5 acquaintances, or aren't really friends. their fairy companions are actually better. I preferred them because they were just so funny. But yeah, so I really, really enjoyed it. It's brilliant, absolutely excellent. This is out now, and yeah, it's a YA fantasy, and it is really, really fun. It's really fun. Next, I read Stephen King on writing. I've read this before, and because I wanted to start writing my novels and trying to keep myself into gear a little bit, um, it's part memoir, part advice on the craft of writing, and it's just exceptional. I don't know any writer I know who hasn't got this book as a reference book. It's exceptional. Not only does he talk about his early life and his family life and his start in publishing and how they came about, um, but that's like the first half, pretty much. The second half is almost a toolbox of what do you do as a writer, and he's very much of the opinion that you sit and you write. Do you know what I mean? It's not that complicated. Don't make it more complicated than it is. But he does give good advice too, and this is an extended one because my original copy of this is battered to death. This is a 20th century edition with contributions from his two sons, Joe and Owen, including an interview with I think it's between him and Joe at the back, which is very funny, but exceptional book. Even if you are not a writer yourself, the memoir part of this is really interesting. And finally, Hunger by Choi Jin Young. I feel like this is the wrong title, and it wasn't called this when it was released in Korea. Does it say what it's called in Korea? Yeah, it was released under another name, and I think that would have been better because I think this gives the wrong impression. So it's basically about these. It's kind of like soulmates, basically, and they met when they were children, and they can't live without each other, and they drift in and out of each other's life, um, um, and but always get back together again, and they're always on the run from somewhere or somebody trying to hurt them, especially him because he gets himself embroiled in with the wrong people. Um, and then one day, he gets murdered in front of her on the street, and instead of calling the police, she takes him home. She drags him home. She undresses him, washes him, rubs him down with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and then starts to eat him, believing that if she can consume his physical essence, then he will be with her forever. It is, I don't even know if I enjoyed it or not, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's kind of cannibalism as obsessional love, and the idea that if you physically take into your body the physical form of their person, that they become part of you. I mean, I know a lot of ancient people believe that too. They would eat the hearts and the brains of their enemy. It's not that difficult, is it? It's not that to imagine somebody thinking like that, but it's absolutely fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And I mean, this was a present from my friend Amelia, and I don't know whether to say thank you or not. I think I probably will though, because I'm glad I read it, but I will never read it again. And the Brucey bonus list, and I think I showed you this last week on my video, is this copy is actually signed, and that's really rare in translated fiction. So that was my oh dear, yeah, I'm dry now. February reading wrap up. I hope you're okay, my darlings. I really do, and I hope you're keeping well. The weather's got a little bit better, hasn't it? It's currently the 3rd of March today. Tomorrow is very sadly my husband's second anniversary of his death. So I'll be posting this first thing in the morning and then being offline for the rest of the day. I'm going to reorganise my library and my Lego behind me because I've got, you can't see very clearly here, but I've got bookcases that run all the way across my wall, so they all need to be sorted. My sister's here with me, and we're going to do that tomorrow. But yeah, the weather's a bit better, it's a bit brighter. Sun was out yesterday, it was lovely. My friends Rie and Dan visited from Wales, it was lovely. But anyway, I've witched on enough now, haven't I, really? You take care of yourselves, my darlings, and each other. Keep warm, keep hydrated, keep reading fantastic books, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye!